Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Self-Love Show. I'm your co-host, Dawn Light, and my beautiful girlfriend here, Trish Wright. And our amazing guest today is Jemineye Hanwi. And I would love to, yay, welcome, 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 Jemineye. Jemineye is amazing, and she's here to share a really beautiful process with us today. So just going to do a little intro and read her bio to you. So this week we showcase dear friend and colleague Jemineye. She will be teaching people how to make a personal love altar, which we all have done. I'm so excited for this conversation. And how to activate it daily. As we, sorry, I'm getting a tickle in my throat. As we know, daily intention and practice can have profound impact on our lives. With an altar, your intention is set in physical form. This not only brings beauty, but also a focus on your prayers, manifestations, and to center yourself. Come explore what a love altar can do for you. So Jemineye is a multifaceted artist, sacred space designer, and a coach, empowering heart-centered entrepreneurs to create impact and wealth online. She loves inspiring people to express themselves through growing personal brands online so they can live life on their terms while generating health and wealth. Yes, 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 yes. Live a life of abundance, prosperity, and aligned soul purpose. So you can find out more about what Jemineye's offerings are. We'll put a link down below to her sacred offerings as we go through the show. And I just invite our guests and viewers to really, hop in the chat box. And this is a medicine basket, right? Put your love offerings for the altar of our heart in this show in the chat box as we go. We really want to hear what your questions are, how you're feeling today, and let's dive into the exploration of what this love altar is and how we can boost our love, amplified loving into the world through this sacred ritual. So thank you for being present on the show weekly, and we're so excited to have you here today. And thank you, my beautiful guest, Jemineye, and my amazing sacred relationship girlfriend here, Trish. Thank you so much. So here we go. Uh-oh, Trish, you're cut out. Technical difficulty is a part of our...
I've muted myself because I'm sharing I'm sharing the video in the background. There's all these little things that I do on the back end of this that magic is happening back here. That's why I do these things like this. I make all these resting but I'm like, ugh. Jemineye, it's so nice to have you here.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so excited.
Yeah. I'd love to just invite the conversation around the altar, the outward altar and the inward altar, the altar of the heart. And I would like to just start there. Is the expression of, for me, the expression of the altar for me has been this, a reminder, a daily, we'll call it, for all you millennials out there who are kind of like me, for the daily mindfulness bell. I don't know if anyone has the mindfulness bell that rings every so often to remind you to drop in. But it's kind of like that. Every time I walk by my altar, which is literally by my desk, it reminds me to stop, take a deep breath, and to really drop into the moment. And that's what it is for me. So as I'm cultivating this show and self-love and the depth of understanding of what empathy can do for the world and ourselves, I'm starting to build one and understand what an inner altar looks like too, right? The altar of self-love, the altar of my heart. Does that resonate with anyone?
Absolutely. Yeah, how I look at the altar is, if you think of your body being the temple of your spirit, your soul, and your heart, and then you think of your home as being the temple for your body, and then you think of the altar as the representation of that spiritual connection from the physical to the spiritual. So it's just, the altar really reminds us that all life is sacred, and that we're sacred and we're on a sacred journey, and bringing that spiritual, physical representation into your home space is super, super important for cultivating that mindfulness and that spiritual connection. Because we get busy, we forget, we go along our lives, we get in ruts. And one way to really recognize the sacred is just to have that visual representation. You know, they always say the way to set yourself up for success is to set your environment up for success first. So, yeah, it's just a simple way to really connect in with spirit and life, with your intentions, your prayers, and just the beauty of life, a place to celebrate and connect in.
Mm. I really love that. That's really juicy and delicious. You know, I too resonate with what you're saying. Like for me, I've had an altar for many years. I've built them everywhere I've lived. I even have a little travel altar that I have set aside for when I travel. Like I have a little one that I can bring with me because I just feel like it helps me sleep better at night because my set is energetically set, my space is set. And so it's just an outward representation of like the love I carry inside of myself for God, spirit, source, and this divine sacred union and connection that's always unfolding. And it's a place where I can pay respect and gratitude. It's just a daily reminder of like, thank you for this precious life, and thank you for the wisdom that is always pouring through my heart, and thank you for the blessings and the roof over my head always, and the food on the table always, and just the infinite blessings that come forth. So an altar to me is just an expression of gratitude for what this sacred life brings. And I know what of impact it brings to my life to have one. And in fact, when I was manifesting my soulmate, this is like I was celibate for a year and 3 months before I married my husband. I had to remember because it's been so long. We've been married 17 years. But the first time he came to my house, he walked right over to my altar and sat down in front of it and got into prayer and like lit an incense. And I like was shocked. I was like, is he doing that for show, or does he really mean that? Like, I was taken aback because it had been such a private experience for me because it's my private altar that I was like, whoa, he really isn't dropping into like he's honoring in that way. And immediately I fell in love with that because it wasn't for show. It was a true, authentic, like heartfelt meeting of his own expression that he could bring his heart to that altar and it could be a shared amongst us. Right. And like, wow, I fell madly in love because it was like such a match for me in that way of like, that's the most important component in a relationship is the spiritual devotion and connection to God together. Right. Because that's truly what it is, an honoring of that union. And so that's just an expression of a little story about my personal relationship with my altar for our viewers and for you, and may it stimulate our conversation even more. So just curious.
I love that. I think that's super, super beautiful. Really beautiful. When I first started, I've also kept altars since I was about maybe like 20 years old is when I really discovered it. I was raised very Christian, and then my family left the church, and then I was able to explore my own spirituality, and I really felt more connected to more native wisdom and plant medicines and shamanism. And so I started learning about the altar through that journey and that spiritual experience. And so I started attending altar in my early 20s, and then went on to explore different ways of having altars. I always had a main altar, but then I started exploring having different themes for altars and different ways to celebrate life. So at one point, when I had also been celibate for like a year or so, I had the idea of why don't I make a love altar that's to love, to my heart opening, to the divine relationship, the masculine and feminine, and also I wanted to call in my partner at that time. And so I attended the altar daily, usually sometimes in the morning, but absolutely by the evening. And sometimes it was just as simple as reading an affirmation, doing a quick prayer, doing a quick smudge. Other times I really would drop in, I'd journal and write intentions and such. And yeah, eventually he's now an ex, but a very important soulmate person in my life is the father of my daughter came into my life at that time. and that altar was also very helpful anytime we had, issues come up or trouble come up. I would sit down and do Ho'oponopono. I would just, really, sit with what was going on and see how I could come from a place of love instead of like anxiety or fear or anger. And so I found just having that sacred space was just so important and um, so powerful. So yeah, I'm excited that we get to offer this to you today.
Hmm.
Yeah, what you say is so cherished. I mean, I really hear that, especially the piece of the Ho'oponopono when we have a moment arise where we're out of alignment, or that just really really calls to me what you just said. And it's a place that you can just always bring everything that is coming up in you to spirit, to say, I give this over. Like, I know that there's a solution within myself.
Yes. Hmm. I just want to tell you a little bit about my altar for a moment,
Yes,
because it's something that's really sweet. Dawnlight, many years ago, gave me a Kuan Yin for my birthday. And in this moment of my life, I was traveling around. I was living in my car, and I created an altar on the very dashboard of my car. And it's really funny. Someone had my car cleaned and eventually removed the entire thing. I was like, that was the only thing you weren't supposed to touch. Oh God. Anyway, it was good because now it sits in, for me, my altar is really places of deep honoring of what's really important to me. So Kuan Yin, the goddess of compassion, she reminds me to be that, to step into that place, to step into my heart. I was gifted a crow wing as the wing for my blessings and smudging. Roses. A friend gave me 33 roses for my birthday last year, so I have a couple of those. I know, it's so sweet. There's just like little pieces that remind me of my own vitality and of my connection to the earth and to what I would consider God or the universe, right? Have you ever seen a dried pomegranate flower?
No.
Nope.
Sounds amazing.
So we have a little pomegranate here. And it's tiny. So this is what it looks like without the leaves. And it becomes the pomegranate. So it's the pomegranate is the essence of the feminine force for me. This is how I understand it. Of the female blood running through us, of the feminine, of the creative reproductive force. It's the connection between the divine and the shadow, right? All places. There's many myths around the pomegranate. And so I love to keep little dried pomegranates, because they're little baby ones. They're so cute. And it just reminds me to like really enjoy what the earth has to offer us. The fertility, just the gifts. There's a couple other things that mean so much to me. And I also keep feathers that my friend who passed from cancer, I inherited them, right? So these macaw feathers, I keep those there to remind me of the beauty of life and death. She gifted me so much with her passing, that not just like in material, but she gifted me the friends, the making friends with death, to being okay with. What kind of things do you guys keep on your altar?
I have Kuan Yin on my altar, just like you. I rotate different pieces in and out through the seasons, so I shift my altar seasonally. And a big component that I really resonate with Native American medicine too. And I have a beautiful like wooden bowl that's really beautiful. And I just put like representation of gratitude for food, you know, like just the blessings of like the abundance. I see it as abundance, you know, not just food, but the way spirit nourishes us, nourishment, you know. So I'll put like beans or black eyed peas or rice, and I'll make a little mandala out of it, you know, and then I'll put a little dollop of honey on there to celebrate like the sweetness of life, to always relish in the sweetness of life. Like, thank you, Spirit, for providing the sweetness of life. That's just like one component. You know, I'm many things, and I rotate different deities too. Like sometimes it's Lakshmi, sometimes it's Ganesh, you know, and sometimes they're both there. Just depends on, you know, like, but Kuan Yin's always stable on my altar, like just goddess of compassion. But depending on what other elements I'm working with, and I, like you, Jemineye, I also resonate with different altars for different themes.
Yeah. Sounds beautiful.
I'd love to hear just really your like rawness about altar, and yeah.
All right, so let's get into this love altar. I'm really excited about this because love altars are juicy. They can be dedicated to self-love, to like romantic love, to divine love, love all around, however you want to do it. So yeah, let's just talk about altars in the basic form. All religions, all different spiritualities, everyone throughout time has used altars to represent that divine and physical connection. So generally an altar starts off with, you want to find like a table, a shelf, a space in a quiet place in your home, or to set it up. So I can use, sometimes I use the top of the dresser. You can see the shelf behind me. I have a long shelf along one wall of my house, and that has all kinds of mini altars on it. You can use the top of the bookcase, the table, wherever you want to use. First, I like to lay down an altar cloth. That can be like a scarf or a table runner, or just any kind of beautiful cloth that lays the foundation for your altar. And then you can also layer it up. I have these little beautiful Shipipo protection pieces on my altar.
Gorgeous.
These are just like handmade. I work with ayahuasca and plant medicine, and so those are really special to me. They represent that plant medicine. And I'm just going to bring the screen down so you can kind of see here. I just set up a special little altar today, and I have some beautiful condor feathers that I went up to a special place where the condors go, and I prayed for them, and I've done it on a couple different occasions, and I'll tell you actually a really cool story about that in a moment. Then I have like these little cute rose quartz hearts. One of them says love. I have a beautiful Lumerian quartz crystal that's really special that a soulmate gave me. I have a beautiful crystal from Peru that I went for my 21st birthday, the first time out of the country, and went to Machu Picchu and got to San Francisco. A beautiful smoky quartz that my brother dug up in Colorado from a mine that he owns. And then some beautiful little tourmaline gifts and more. And so I just put some special little things to create a space. I also have a little card here that I've written a while back, and I just found when I was finding things to create this altar today. And it says, I am worthy, I am loved, I am whole. And so the beautiful thing about creating an altar is you can put, anything that's meaningful to you on it. And then you can activate it daily. So first I want to tell you a great little story about these beautiful condor feathers.
Can I just
Yep.
interrupt for briefly one moment?
Sure.
Just to ask our viewers to type in what's on your altar. If you have an altar, what's on your altar? If you don't have an altar, what is inspiring you right now about this conversation? And what is, as Jemineye speaks to you, really allow her words to come in to inspire what you want to create on your altar. Like this beautiful, amazing human right now is going to take us through a journey of her heart to really inspire us to refresh and or recreate or create a new altar. So type in the box and really just tell us what you're thinking. What's on your altar right now? Thanks, Jemineye.
Yes, love to hear from you. So, great little story about prayer and manifesting and trust is that when I was 23, I went up to the special sacred place to do a medicine ceremony. I took some cactus medicine. I went up on and hiked to these rocks and prayed all day, and I knew there were condors there, so I prayed for condor feathers. I spent the entire day there, maybe like, I don't know, 10 hours or so, and I watched the condors. I sung, I played didgeridoo, I prayed, I meditated, and it started getting dark, so I came down the canyon, and I'm still looking for condor feathers, looking. Didn't find them, get to the parking lot, got all the way into my car. I had a little Miata at the time. Started driving. I still had trust that I was going to find condor feathers. And literally, I slammed on my brakes, and right in the middle of the road, there were like 30-something condor feathers. Huge, like giant condor feathers. And I ran out of my car, threw them in my car, and drove off and just started crying. I was just in just such gratitude for these beautiful feathers. And then I proceeded to clean them when I got home, and then I beaded them. I beaded the stems up, this part for friends, and I gave them as gifts over the years. And then, I don't know, 20-something years later, I was in a medicine ceremony, and the medicine curator said, I really want to find some condor feathers. I want to make some fans. And I said, I know the place. So the next week we met up and we drove out to this same place. We did another cactus ceremony. We went and prayed. We set up my medicine wheel that I'd set up 20 years prior. And we had a beautiful time. And we're praying. We get down. We get to the parking lot. We get in the car. We're driving off. My friend was like, well, I don't know, maybe we're not going to find them. Let me know, we're going to find them. I trust we're going to find them. And my boyfriend at the time was driving, and then I looked over and I looked at this big tree right as we were about to leave this park. And I was like, stop the car, it's right there. And just then a bunny rabbit jumps by us, and then we see a mountain lion chasing the rabbit. And my medicine friend was like, okay, yeah, they're here. And we park, we make sure the mountain lion's gone, we get out, we head to the tree. At the bottom of the tree was a buck and deer, like nose to nose. And we were like, yeah, we're definitely finding feathers here. We look down, he finds the first feather, and we found like 50 feathers. And so just wanted to talk about just how important it is to trust in the divine, trust that whatever gifts are on your heart are coming to you. And that, yeah, it's just about prayer and trust and knowing and believing. You know, it's like believe it, know it, and then it will come and you'll see it. So, getting a little computer difficulties. I'm not sure what's going on.
That
Okay.
really resonates what you say. I totally resonate with that anchoring of trust. Like the altar is an opportunity to really anchor the trust in spirit that you are attuned, that you are listening, that you are finally attuning to your spiritual purpose and listening deeply. And it's a place of sacred reverence, you know, and the things you choose to put on your altar are opportunity to pay reverence. Like maybe you're working deeply with compassion, so you're going to use Kuan Yin, or Maybe you're working with the angels, so you'll choose a representation of an angel, or maybe there's so many beautiful elements that you can add to your altar. It's so vast, like however your medicine is longing to be offered. So it's really just allowing yourself to explore, like, what are the qualities I want to embody? What are the elements I'm longing to embody in my life? And how can I build my altar to represent the highest aspect of me in this lifetime?
Exactly. Yeah, so I'd love to share with you just a simple smudging prayer that you can do with an altar. You can make it in any way of your own, but a really simple one. I usually have like Palo Santo and sage on my altar, but I'm in the process of moving right now, so I have that packed up. So I'm going to share a smudging with a feather, which is also a favorite way to smudge. So first, I like to just fan and really just like feel the air over my body and just connect in. And then I'm going to make a prayer. So thank you, Great Spirit, in all sacred directions, above and below and within. Thank you for love. Thank you for protection. Thank you for beauty, abundance, and just this absolutely beautiful day. I'm so grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for a sphere of love, light, and protection around me, my family, my friends, my community. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you. I now release all that doesn't serve me. I let go of any dis-ease, any negativity, any worry. And I replace that with trust, with abundance, love, and health. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So that's just an example of a simple prayer, a smudging prayer. It's connecting in with all the sacred directions, creating a sphere um, around yourself um, that you get to live in every day. That's your special sacred space. And it's also about releasing and receiving. And so that's something that I love to do. It's
Jim,
really
can I ask
simple.
you to get a little
Yes,
closer to the microphone?
yes. I can move this.
Yeah. Thank you.
Closer, closer. Ooh, I don't know why the connection's from the phone. Okay, there we go. All right. Is that better?
I think it sounds better, yes.
Okay. Bring that closer.
I think that some people might have some, I mean, I have in the past, some anxiety around setting intention or setting prayer, or how to really, like, how do you know what to put on your altar? How do you know? Like, it can be kind of anxiety producing if you don't know how to build one.
So yeah, it's just really simple of adding objects that are sacred to you. So I like to bring in um, nature because nature is very sacred to me. I like to bring in stone, water, flowers, uh, candles for fire, feathers for air, and just sacred special objects that people have given to me. I use crystals on my altar. Sometimes I feel like blessing money, so I'll put actual money on my altar. You can put fruit, anything that you want to bless and that you want to represent that represents life or celebration to you. So it's really a personal thing. Um, some people like to put deities. Some people like to put um, photos, statues, animals, like whatever's special. I'll go out for a hike and collect beautiful leaves and add them to my altar. Or my daughter will bring home stones that she's found, and I'll put those on my altar. So anything that's special to you, it's really up to you. I do like to lay out my altar in more of a balanced, symmetrical way because symmetry creates beauty. It is okay to have an off-centered altar if that feels beautiful to you. But personally, I like to try to mirror each side of the altar and have a centerpiece. And yeah, so some of the practices that you can do on your altar are you can use incantations, which are I am statements. So that, for example, was when I showed you the little card that said, I am worthy, I am loved, I am whole, um, I am safe, I am, uh, I am loved, I am loving, um, I am full, I am beautiful, I am generous. Just using any kind of I am statements are very empowering, and it's you acknowledging who you truly are in your highest self. And so those are a beautiful way to activate your altar. Also, uh, you can do any kind of prayers. You can meditate. You can do deep breathing. Um, anything that comes to mind. You can sit and journal in front of your altar. I every day do a gratitude prayer, and that's a prayer that's always from the heart. So it's a great way to activate your love altar as well.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. It's so beautiful what you bring. I loved your elements of, nature and like the connection to like giving gratitude for all parts of life. I really hear a deep reverence of the connection to your, natural way of life. Like it's really beautiful to see.
Yeah, and I just want to remind you, you can also make nature altars, which is where you go out into nature and find a space, and you just use what's around. Like you can make a circle with stones, and then I like to make a cross in the center so that you get the four directions, and then you can fill in each of the quadrants, maybe with like different colored leaves or flowers or pine cones or whatever's available, and you can create a sacred space out in nature. I like to do that as well, um, just to uh, have that mindfulness practice of communing with nature and giving thanks. So it's like an altar can be a traveling thing. It can be in your home. You can create it anywhere that you feel inspired. So I just want to remind you of that.
Mm.
It's about opening your heart, about trusting in life, about celebrating life, and yeah, just holding that beautiful sacred space.
That's a
Yeah.
perfect segue to self-empathy. To really trusting life, to really being in that space. First, I'd love if we could read some of these comments that are coming in. There's a lot of them. It's really amazing. There's lots of love for both Dawn and Jemineye from Christabel, some Facebook user.
Hi, Christabel.
Antonia.
Hi, Antonia.
Gabriella. Now that I'm not
Hi,
pronouncing.
Gabriella.
Yeah. So people are using, this is what people who are watching are putting on their altars. Ganesh, Lakshmi, candles, fresh flowers for specific ceremonies. Gabriella has crystals as well. And since it was Diwali, she recently worshipped goddess Lakshmi for wealth and abundance. Antonia has a moonstone egg and a sliver of a crescent moon. A beautiful deck of tarot cards, geodes, crystals, petrified wood. Yes. Burned leaf with ashes, moon-bathed water, frankincense resin, pictures of my partner. And she says, yes, love your active prayer sphere. Setting up multiple sacred spaces around the house, nature elements as we find them and find us like crystals. They choose us just the same. Money, a cup of water, Palo Santo, leaves, rice, a small cup of cacao, milk before drinking. There's lots of love and gratitude pouring in. I just want to share that for everybody who's watching and who will watch the replay, is that really there's so many things that can be on the altar, right? You can keep a harmonica if that's something that really draws to you. I keep my flute, things that people have given you, something that inspires and really elates you. Here's a story before I go. One story before we talk. So the other day I was reorganizing my altar, totally cleaning it up for, I had someone visiting and I wanted to just change the whole thing because the altar before was set for a very specific letting go process for me. And before this person came into my space, which is my sacred, beautiful, single woman space, I wanted to show up and really invite him in. And I went to this really beautiful event, and it was a puja. It was my first puja ever, and it was the most amazing experience of giving and receiving fully. While I was there, I got this amazing little coin that has, I'm going to show it to you as well. That I got this coin there, and this is 10 years ago, maybe, like at least 10 years ago. And it's got, so I put this on there. This was just the most amazing puja I've ever, like, I've been to a few, but this was amazing. I mean, they had us drip water blindfolded on the people that we were giving to. I mean, it was so sacred. And so I wanted to bring that energy into the space. I had never had some of those sensations and some trust, the level of trust with strangers, and to just give and receive. Wow. So I put this on my altar, and he comes to visit, and it was fine, like whatever. But just last week or the week before, I was running another show called Straight Talk, and there were two tantrikas there, or a tantrika and a tantric man. And as I was sitting there, it occurred to me that the woman who I was talking to, again, 10 years ago, was the woman who gave me the coin.
Wow.
Love it.
Because this was in my traveling altar. I have this little case. It was in my traveling altar for years. I traveled all around with it while I was teaching Tantra, while I was doing all these things. And I had it sitting here. And I picked it up and I was like, wow, Monique, darling, wow. I was at that particular puja in San Diego. And this is what you gave me. We've met before. So speaking of altars, there's so many amazing ways that an altar can really support your life. It can really show you where you've been and show you where you're going. I mean, that's just my own understanding of the altar, that intentional living is really everything. What you put your presence on and how you draw yourself to presence is really important. And Dawn and I were just talking about that, is what are you focused on every day? Are you focused on the negatives, or are you focused on the beauty of the altar? Are you focused on the altar of your heart, that you're laying down and surrendering your stories and your ideas and your feelings and what's not true anymore for you?
I have one thing to share. I'm going to grab it.
Yes. Share.
Yes, and I want to agree that, yes, it's so important to let go of what no longer serves you. And that's part of that daily smudging, letting go, and then welcoming in that new energy. So, yes.
Absolutely.
It's so true. So I have had this long process of healing with my father, and I had it on the altar for many years. And when I purchased the home that my husband and I ended up having a process with the bank and losing it, but it was a long journey. I did a ritual with a tree, like a native ceremony outside of that home where I had purchased it. And it was really powerful because a deer came and sat with me, and it gave me full confirmation that I knew that deer spirit was my animal guide in this life. I've always known that. And deers represent like grace to me. And it came and fully sat like not very far away from me, just like right to the, it was to the left of me actually. And it fully looked me in the eyes when I was quiet and doing ceremony and sitting journaling. And it gave me full confirmation. So later in my process with healing with my father, I went to see my dad at one point before he passed. And he gifted me a set of deer horns of a deer that he actually sadly killed, because I'm not one to kill animals, but I feel like it's such a sacred thing, right? This whole journey of like, I walk in grace is what it represents to me. Like even through all the hardship and the things I've been through, it's around walking in grace in life. So I had my friend make it into a headdress for me. It's really beautiful. So it's I don't know if you can see it. And my friend Joey made it into like these sacred deer, like headdress. And so it sits on my altar as a representation of like the sacredness of my connection to, even the most difficult relationship I had, that even through that I walk in grace. And this lifetime I walk in grace, like the deer, that I will always walk in grace. And it's just I carry that in my heart, so I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
See, that's the importance, right? That there is no right or wrong of building an altar. There's truth that you get to express through your heart. And I'm so grateful, Jemineye, that you're here teaching us and reminding us and holding our hand that creating beautiful space is really important. Intentional, beautiful, connected space.
Yes, it's super, super important. And if you've been thinking about creating an altar, if you don't already have one, I highly urge you to do it today. Like find some space today, carve out a little time, and create that intentional space. It can even just be on your bedside table. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, unless you want it to be, of course, it can be. But I just urge you to create that space, or if you already have an altar, go in and activate it today. Make some prayers, maybe clean, dust, reorganize, take away things that you're done with, add some new things. Like give your altar some energy, some love. Give yourself some love. Give the divine some love.
That's a beautiful offering.
Well, before I turn it away to just Jemineye to take us away, I give everyone an opportunity to just do a little self-empathy. I don't know about you, but I could use it today. I've already run this tool twice this morning, once laying in bed and once in the shower, because there's some stuff coming up for me as I process through another experience in my life or a pattern. So I give you an opportunity to just close your eyes. Take a moment to take a deep breath. And give yourself an opportunity to run that thought. You know the one. Run that thought. It could be a negative thought. It could be something painful that's happening in your life. Give yourself just 15 seconds to run it. No more. Now as you take your nice next deep breath, drop into your heart. And what are the feelings attached to that thought or those thoughts? What's there for you? And as you understand and hear your thoughts and your feelings through your thoughts, like I really invite you to just allow them to be without shaming them, without being guilty for having those feelings. Yeah, just allow whatever's coming up to be there. And as you Take another deep breath in. Allow your feelings to inform what your wants and needs are. What is it that you truly want here? Because your thoughts are pointers to your feelings, and your feelings are pointers to your values and wants and needs. So what is it that you want? Safety, connection, to be heard, authenticity. There's so many things that you could want. Just really give yourself the opportunity to either speak it out loud or really, really hold that. What is that want, that precious need that you have? And as you drop into your body, really honoring that need that you have or those needs that you have, how can you today meet those needs for yourself? How can you just show up for you, fulfilling those things that you need and want before asking another to do it for you? Because as much as another person may want to do that, they may not have the capacity or the willingness to meet your needs. And as you meet your own needs, that you can show up in fullness to them. And maybe your needs that you want them to meet you in might change. So as you take another nice deep breath in, open your eyes and come back to the space. And how was that for you?
Beautiful release. Yeah, so good.
Yes. Healing. It's always healing.
Our poor little human brain just makes up so many stories so often. And it's just, I don't know about you, but my human brain is so mean to me. It's really mean to me. You know, like, oh, I mean, it just makes up the craziest stuff. And that when I drop into my heart and really feel like, oh, I'm just sad, or I'm angry, or I'm frustrated, or I'm overwhelmed, or I'm overly happy, or whatever feeling is coming up, I'm like, oh, wow, that it's just a feeling that's informing these thoughts. And then when I really drop down to what I want is safety. What I want is to know that I'm being seen and held and met, that I can be authentic and safe. And especially for me today, that's the big one. I want to know that I'm emotionally safe in my authentic expression.
Beautiful.
And I also know that I can meet that for me, or I can ask a friend, or I can ask someone to meet that for me, but I want to meet it for me first. Mm-hmm. So that when I show up to Dawn, or when I show up to Jemineye, that I'm like, hey, this is where I got to on my own. I could really use ... which shifts the want and need, because now I want to be seen. I want to know that I have a sisterhood of support. I mean, even this morning I asked Dawn, I was like, I love that you're my champion, and I want you to be really honest with me. If I'm screwing off, I want you to be honest, just full on, because I know that you have my back in the truth, and that's what I want. How is that for you, Jemineye?
Love it. Feels really good.
Yeah.
I really love it. I resonate. We all want to be safe, seen, heard, accepted, and loved. So, yes, what came up for me is I'm a single mama, so I provide for my daughter, and just trusting that the universe is always providing for both of us, and trusting that I'm safe, that I get to have more fun in my life, that I get to have less worries, that I don't need to stress, that I can connect in with friends and community, I can enjoy the day, I can have fun doing my work, that that I get to serve people I get to help people. I get to show up, and just how beautiful is that? And I don't need to worry. You know, like the right people will come that need my help. The right people um, for me to receive from will come, and just to trust in that natural flow. And so that's what came up for me today, you know, with the self empathy tool. It's just that like, I don't have to worry. I can just relax, just be in my feminine, just enjoy. No stress.
Mm,
That's delicious.
yeah.
I resonate with that completely. I had a very similar experience on some level. I was really like allowing myself to affirm that I'm like the queen in my business. You know what I mean? And that the queen is can like rest into that place and allow like the wisdom that I carry in my heart that is spirit led to come through, you know, so that it's just like an authentic offering, and it's delicious and it's beautiful, and I'm in love with it, and it's loving itself through me.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's what I was feeling through the empathy. Like I didn't really have a running thought that was like I just was in a gratitude space, honestly, when I stepped into it. I felt very grateful. So that led to like this deeper gratitude of like everything in my life, and especially like business. Like, you know, just like the 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 honey, like the juicy delicious honey, you know, seeing yourself as like amazing golden dripping delicious honey,
Mm.
the nectar of life.
You're bringing up a really good point, is that the empathy tool is used in all feelings, even in gratitude. And look, if you use it in gratitude, look what it offers you as well. That empathy expands in all directions, including, right? So the deeper you're in empathy with yourself in gratitude, the more you can see and hold another person's gratitude, the more that you can see another person's light and joy. Ooh, I'm getting a really big download right this moment about that.
Expands it. Yeah, it's
That if
good.
you can see someone thriving, if you can see that person and you're grateful for what you have, that you can actually have more enjoyment and more gratitude and support and empowerment for that person too, because you're there, whatever it is that you have, even if it's not as
expanding it.
Yes, exactly. This is powerful for what we were talking about earlier, Dawn.
Yeah.
All right, Miss Jemineye, take it away. Anything and everything that you want to say, I invite you to just to roar out.
All right. So let's see what wants to come in. Really, like one of the biggest, most juiciest downloads that I had this year, um, with all the changes, with all the restrictions, is that being a free spirit, I've just been a little bit of a rebel. I've just really found all these incredible ways to just be free and to celebrate life. And so, um, one of the practices that I've brought in or brought back into my life this year is dance, because I'm a dancer. I love dancing. Dancing connects me to life. For me, dance can be such a prayer, and it raises my energy. It allows me to let go of stress. And so one of the things that I've been doing this entire year is going out into nature and dancing. So like going to the beach, I bring a speaker and I go to a very private beach where I just have the whole place to myself. And I've been dancing and putting on medicine music and beautiful music and just connecting in with nature, connecting in with the sand and the earth, connecting in with the sky, the clouds, the sun, the beautiful air, the ocean, and just being with the elements and just feeling that and dancing and celebrating life, because there's so many great reasons to be grateful for. And sometimes I'll set up an altar on the beach before I dance, and just really pour my energy into that sacred space. Other times I dance on my little back porch, or I'll dance in my living room. But I've really brought that celebration through dance into a daily practice, and I make a point to dance almost every day, and use that as my prayer. So, um, yes, tending an altar and having your altar space is important, but also activating it is so, 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 so important. And I want you to remember, like, don't feel guilty for being happy or feeling well or healthy or ecstatic or blissful or joyful during this time. There's so much fear that's going out in the world, and you don't have to tune into it. It's your choice. It's your choice to show up as your true authentic self. You don't have to take on stories that are out there. You don't have to take on that narrative. You get to choose who you are, who you show up as. Um, you get to share your gifts with the world and be you. So I just want to remind you to celebrate every day and give thanks, give gratitude. Every day I wake up in the morning before I get on my phone or answer messages or do anything. I just sit in silence for a few minutes, and I do a gratitude prayer. And I just say, thank you, Great Spirit, for my beautiful home. Thank you for all the beautiful people in my life. Thank you for this beautiful sunny day. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my community. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for my partner. Thank you for my daughter. Thank you for just lighting me up today with inspiration. I'm so excited for this day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I just drop into that space of gratitude first thing, and I have some tea, then, I might get on my phone and start to do a little work before my daughter gets up, and then hang out with my daughter. We have breakfast, get her off to daycare. Just starting the day with gratitude is so important, and in some mornings I will do that with a smudging prayer, or other times I just sit on my sofa and do gratitude. So I just wanted to remind you to connect in with life, connect in with spirit. You can pray while you're driving. You can pray at any time. Just like when you feel inspired, just connect in with the divine. The more connected you are to the divine, the more strong that you are, the more strong that you feel. You know it in your bones that you are safe, you're well, you're provided for. So, really creating sacred space, creating an altar, creating multiple altars. It's all about connecting in with the divine. It's all about remembering who you are, why you're here, and remembering that you're always connected. So, that's the message that wants to come through today. And just know that I love you. I send you all, beautiful big hugs today, and just remember to celebrate life always.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So beautiful, your practice and this love altering and the message you bring today. We're so grateful for your medicine and who you are and how you shine and impact the world. Like, you're amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If you want to find out more about Jemineye, please click the link that I'm dropping in right now. Jemineye, thank you for such a heart-centered share, and for really teaching us and reminding us and our viewers to just drop in, to create that space of gratitude in physical form.
It's so simple and it works.
Yes, it does.
Really, I like to do my best to simplify things and keep them simple, because as humans we can overcomplicate things and think that you have to do like 50 steps to something. Like, just keep it simple. Life can be so simple, so easy, so in the flow. But it's just like allowing it to be. Like, don't complicate it.
It's true.
I feel called to share one little thing really quickly, and that has to do with like that you were speaking to the prayer aspect or the I am statements. And I've used I am statements for a long time in my life. And if this really resonates for those that are really seeking more aspect how to utilize that, you can actually go search I am decrees and find them. And there's really beautiful ones. And I have one memorized that I say every day before I go to bed. So it's Beloved, I am presence bright. Around me seal your tube of light. From ascended master's flame, called forth now in God's own name. To let it keep my temple free from all discord sent to me. I am calling forth the violet fire to blaze and transmute all desire. Keeping on in freedom's name till I am one with the violet flame. And that is a really, I've taught it to my child. We say it in our family as a ritual nightly, and we say other prayers too. We say the Lord's Prayer, and those two prayers just carry our family. We do it together as a unit, the three of us, and it carries us through the ups and the downs and the sideways and everything. And it's just special to teach that to my child too, because he'll have that as a home base no matter what he goes through. And so if you're seeking more direction with like I am statements, then just Google I am decrees. There's a lot of them.
Beautiful, thank you.
Spirit was like, say it, say it, say it. I was like, okay, I'll say it. Yeah. Yeah. And oh, sorry.
No.
I just want to say thank you again, Jemineye. You're such a gift, and to initiate the beautiful energy of this time, because it's right. Thanksgiving is next week, right? And so this is so precious and perfect, aligned with like how my favorite holiday, Thanksgiving, you know, and like let's build an altar to our gratitude and like the preciousness and the sweetness of this life. And like, yes, this year has been very challenging, but like we can make our life sweet, and we can celebrate the blessedness always through our expression of like gratitude and a sacred love offer and altar, you know, our offering to our altar of our hearts in our life. So I just want to say thank you for what you bring. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so grateful for the community that we're building of epic, excellent coaches and powerful sisters, powerful brothers. I do want to share my deep love and gratitude for Dawn and how she shows up for me and for her friends and who she brings in. I'd also like to ask you to talk about your program a little bit.
Oh, okay. Yes. So I'm in the middle of developing a program right now that's a group offering, but the program that Trish is speaking about right now is a 9-month program, and it's called The Heroine's Journey. And it's really a basis of what I went through in my own life to heal from the deep spiritual curriculum that I experienced in my life, where I had deep trust issues. And I feel as a soul, I came in and I chose that family dynamic because it set me up to experience trust issues from the jump. You know, I had a very abusive father, and I experienced child abuse and a lot of it. And I'm really proud of me for turning out amazing and working through it and dedicating my life to peeling away the misidentifications and the misperceptions that I held. You know, that life isn't showing up to abuse me or disrespect me. That in fact, I'm not rejected by life, which is what I believed for a very long time through that experience. It was very difficult to witness that and be treated that way. And so it was a long cycle of breaking those patterns. And the program that I've created is really a process of Erik Erikson's life stages. And we back generate from the kind of latter part of your life, the end of your life. And even if you aren't in that stage, it's a place to clear away all the fears of witnessing your grandparents and how their end of life went, you know, your parents, and just really kind of assess, like, what do I want the last part of my life to be like? And really create an ideal scene around that. So there is no fear, and you can step into creating truly, because it's about placing deep intention and really creating the life you choose. And so we back generate from every stage, every life cycle, so all the way through, to the ones you're living in now, and then the early years, all the way back to in utero, so that you can deeply investigate what happened to you and what did you make it mean about you, so that you can really kind of clean the slate of your experience in life, so that you have a whole new way of perceiving your life, and you can lay down the deep patterns that you've been experiencing, especially if you experience something that you notice that it's carry over in every relationship you experience. That's a pattern. So it's time to really investigate what the real essence, the real truth, the real teaching, the real learning, your soul's curriculum. It's an opportunity to really experience what is my soul's curriculum in this lifetime. And I'm ready to dive into the heart of my altar and look at this and hold it sacred and have closure with it, so that I don't have to carry this forward in all my relationships.
Yes.
That's it. That's the yeah. So it's called The Heroine's Journey. The link is in the description and in the medicine chat here, and you're welcome to explore it. It breaks down all the patterns you can experience in the trauma. When you experience trauma in a certain age cycle, you can really look at it. Explains each cycle and what the patterns are, and so it's just an opportunity to really break free. If you've been struggling for a long time in your life with really trauma, it's an opportunity to break free.
I'm so excited for that. And I know that you've been working so hard on really creating and developing that program to really support the people that you're working with. And as I know Dawn's work. I've been working with Dawn for many, many years now. And this is an opportunity to really work through that patterning in your life. I'd love to just give a shout out, as I always do, to Love Coach Academy, to Scott Katamas, for being a powerful muse for this show and for being a really loving mentor for me personally, for Dawn, for giving us so much, to really just offering tools and opportunities to keep moving forward, not only in our practice, but in our business. For me, I'd really like to offer Scott and I are teaching another class called Merging Without Toxic Enmeshment, Maintaining Your Center While Rising in Love. So if you're interested in creating the life and the love that you want in deep compassion and deep connection, this is the class for you. This is dissolving the codependent patternings and being really kind to yourself while doing it. So finding ways to work with your abandonment wounding, to work with the way that you relate to the issues that you have with your persons, and really to find compassion and to step into greater depth and love with them. And I'm typing it in the chat box here. You can ask questions. You can find Scott and I as well. Type it all in and we'll answer any of the questions for you. That's running on December 12th. So
yay!
Looking forward to seeing you all there. If that's what you want to do, if you want to rise in love and develop better relationship skills and better self-love skills. It's not just for couples and it's not just for singles. So just, you get to show up.
And again, like Jemineye's link is in the box. Thank you for sharing that, Trish. It's really beautiful. I'm super stoked for your class. And I just wanted to say one more time to just really promote Jemineye here. Like her links are in the box also. And, reach out if you're interested in some business coaching or, empowerment coaching or, sacred space, altar information or building in that way. Jemineye is an amazing expert in this. And, thank you again for being on the show. Like it's been a really profound opportunity for sharing love offerings and altars.
I love it. Love altering.
Ooh.
Love altering
Ooh,
altars.
juicy.
Love altering.
Love altering. That's awesome.
Thank you all for watching. Next week is the holiday. So we will be taking the day off. So we'll see you 2 weeks from now.
Yes.
Have a wonderful holiday.
Yeah, I love you
Bye.
guys. Have an amazing Thanksgiving. Like, really, just celebrate the gratitude and thanksgiving of the blessings of your sacred life.
Mhm. Have a
So,
wonderful day.
yes, wonderful 2 weeks.